And welcome back to Android Open. I'm Alex Howard, and I'm now joined by Jonathan Simon from alltrails.com, described as Yelp for the outdoors, and author of O'Reilly's Head First Android Development. How's it going?
It's going great.
Cool. So I have here an actual early release proof of the book.
Yeah, because it's actually not done yet. We're actually finishing it up now.
Could you say that this is a book in beta? Is that how this works?
It is in beta. It's actually called early release.
Okay.
So what you can do is you can actually buy it before it's finished.
Ooh, ah.
And which basically means that everybody gets to see my nasty edits before they're finished.
Right on.
Yeah.
So if people go online, you're saying they can see your nasty edits? Is that true?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So if you Google Head First Android Development, you'll probably arrive at Jonathan Simon's proof, and you can check it out.
Yeah, you'll see it on the O'Reilly page.
Awesome. So obviously, Head First Android Development, we're talking about development here, which means you're making apps. What sort of apps can you learn how to make in here to get started?
Well, so the way this book works is that in building these apps, you'll learn some of the basic constructs of building Android apps for yourself. So instead of just a large book that just says, here's all these features that you can build in Android and into your Android apps, there's just 3 or 4 Android apps in here that you'll build yourself as you go through the book, learning introductory concepts about how to build your own apps.
Cool.
So one of the apps that I think is a lot of fun in here is there's a NASA Image of the Day app. So there's an RSS feed published by NASA that has an image every day of just something cool going on with NASA or space or something launching or coming back to Earth, whatever it is that's going on that day at NASA World. And this app looks at that RSS feed, parses an image, and displays it on the screen. And then once that app is built, it takes it to different apps or different devices and gets it working on the different device screen sizes, tablets, big phones, landscape, portrait, all the kind of stuff you need to do to build your own app.
Now that last bit strikes me as being one of the kind of consistent challenges Android developers are having, which is to say, it's just not like a single device out there. You've got lots of flavors of Android devices. What kind of advice do you give developers for how to get started with that kind of huge challenge?
I think first you just need to conceptually understand how the overrides work. So build your app in sort of like a standard, flexible as possible way. So no specific layout. Everything should be sort of with a layout manager and flexible to different screen sizes. And then just figure out the overrides you need to make it work on the various different devices and expand out from there. And the only thing I would really tell everybody is test on every device you can. If you're at your friend's house and they've got a device, put your app on it and test it. If you see a tablet you've never seen before, just grab it, install it. Put your if you're building an app, put your APK up on your own server, install it everywhere, test it everywhere, and you'll sooner or later figure it out.
Now there are more and more emulators are coming out which let developers test their applications like they're on another device, right?
Right.
Okay. So
but that just doesn't work.
Okay.
So I mean, it works to a point, and I think everybody should test on an emulator. It's not that you shouldn't, but at some point you just need to test on actual devices because they all kind of work differently. Every device manufacturer does slightly different things, and there might be different quirks about how each implementation of Android works. So best case, test on real devices.
Right on. Well, that's a solid piece of advice. In terms of where people are coming into this, what's sort of the basic skill set that they should have before they pick up the book?
So before you pick up this book, you should know how to code some Java. You don't have to be a Java expert, but if you've never looked at a line of Java before in your life, you should probably start with something like Head First Java or another introductory Java book. But aside from that, just not being afraid of writing your own apps, and maybe a little XML experience doesn't hurt just because a lot of work in Android is done in XML. But again, like Java, you don't have to be an expert in XML. You just have to sort of know it exists and be able to open up a text editor. And
cool. So it sounds like a fairly low barrier to entry then in terms of this kind of development.
Yeah, it's definitely an introductory book, and there's no expectation of any Android experience beforehand. It's definitely a book that you can read to get your bearings in Android and build your own apps, but you don't have to be an expert in any technology to use this.
Great. And after you go through this, where will you be in terms of your ability, do you think?
You'll understand the fundamental concepts to build your own apps. So this book won't teach you everything you need to know about anything, but it'll let you know the fundamental concepts so that you can go out and learn the rest that you need to know to customize your apps.
Cool.
So like, for example, there's a chapter that goes into looking in the address book and reading contacts off the device. So if you're going to build your own apps doing something really specific with the contacts on the phone, you'll probably have to go and research the contacts API and how all that stuff works and learn the specifics. But after reading the chapter in the book and building the app for yourself, you'll know enough of the fundamentals that you'll understand how it works, so that you can go learn the rest on your own.
Got it. So last question. As you look at this Android Open conference, as you look at what's happening in this space, what are some of the unmet needs that people could be developing apps for, or developing apps that work better?
I'd say that really has nothing to do with Android itself, and just we should kind of step back as app developers and build apps that people need, instead of cool, new, techie things that sound like a lot of fun to build. And just think about how to use technology to sort of make our lives better, instead of some sort of esoteric little cool thing that we're only going to use in Silicon Valley. Kind of think outside that and think about what people want to make their lives better.
Sounds like pretty good advice to me. Cool.
Okay.
Well, all right. So that's Jonathan Simon. He's written and is writing a brain-friendly guide to head-first Android development. You can go online, do a Google for that. You can find it and give him comments. We like comments. They make the books better. So thank you for that.